Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe, like, comment button, and most importantly, that notification button. This week, Joel and I are breaking down the craziness of the Copa America Final. The Marlins got a player in the All-Star game, and we got the tea times going down in Scotland. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go! Yo,
Back at the crib?
back at the crib.
Literally. Back at the crib.
I mean, it's always good to do it face to face.
Oh, yeah. Pause.
No Diddy, but the podcast isn't the same. You know, when we do a StreamYard. Don't get me wrong; it was a good episode.
We
You
get
know,
it done, dog.
we went deep on that Heat team.
I'm curious, too, though, like people that listen or watch, rather, you know, is there a significant preference to when we get together like this versus the StreamYard?
Right?
Or, you know, leave a comment below. Let us know. Do you prefer
Right.
these or do you prefer StreamYard or Undecided?
Or just like
Undecided.
hit the like if you like it.
Something like that. But anyways, good to see you, bro. We've had a
Likewise, man.
crazy couple of weeks here
It
traveling
dripped
and
out.
stuff. You know, I had to throw a little something on, you know, let people know where I've been and stuff.
All right, I
So
see.
a conversation piece. I actually wore this for work last week.
Hockey golf guy.
On one of the days, and like a bunch of dudes, but like a bunch of people were like, "Have you played there?" And like that opened up a lot of conversations and shit for networking.
I mean, it's one of the best things to use for networking, right? Like just being able to go out there and really be open, right? And everybody's struggling or playing well or something like that, or like hyping each other up. That's probably one of the best things about playing golf, right? Especially with people that you don't know or like are just starting to get to know, right? Because again, it just lets everybody have a good time and have that open space to be bad in a sport that's really hard.
Did you see the Zaire golf post that it was like a story that this guy was telling that it was him and his buddy,
Man.
and they get paired up with this random. I don't know
70-year-old
what his
guy
name
or
was.
something.
Nah, I don't know his name.
He was
but-
younger than that, right?
Yeah, it was a young dude, and like they were like apparently in the post he was like, you know, this guy showed up, and just by the way like he was dressed, the clubs he had, the bag he had, like, you know, you would think he had a somewhat reasonable golf game. You know what I mean? And he said that they get to the first tee and he tops his driver like 40 yards.
Yeah.
And that they're like, oh, like just hit a breakfast ball, hit another. And he's like, nah, I'll just go ahead and hit that one. You know, it's all good. And he says he goes and he hits it with his hybrid and just hits it like 150 yards out of bounds.
Completely out of bounds.
And then eventually, like at that point, the kid was like, "Hey, I'll just meet you guys on the second tee box, all right?" And then they're like, "All right." They finish out the hole, do their thing, meet him on the next tee box. Hits another driver, tops it again. Says the kid goes up to his ball, grabs it, comes back. He's like, "All right, that's it for me, guys." They're like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you like? It's all good." Like trying to.
No, it's all right, bro. Nobody's
like,
playing.
Bro, like, yeah, relax, dog.
It
And he's
happens.
like, nah, just
That's enough.
I knew on the range I wasn't having a good day. I'm out of here, bro. I'm not even gonna deal with this today, bro. What do you think about that, dog?
I think that's a smart move, dog.
You bro. You just
Yes.
got $70.
Yes, dog.
And you're
Yes,
walking out
dog.
of around the golf
Yes,
off
Joel.
of 2 holes.
Yes, dog. You
Two
know why,
holes?
Joel? You know why, dog? Because it may have cost you $70 to go play that round, another 15 for the bucket, right? Let's say you went out there and you hit the bucket. So in it, you're $90 in it, right?
Right?
You're
Yeah.
$90
You're
in it,
just
right?
making it worse for yourself.
If you continue to go at that pace for another 16 holes, I can guarantee you that you're going to lose about $90 worth of balls, right? Or you're going to break a club or two that costs way more than $90, therefore ruining the rest of your day.
Nah, but you shouldn't be doing that, bro. We all get frustrated, dog. But
Joel.
like, you shouldn't be breaking your clubs and doing that. And honestly, bro, like that's like I kind of all right. Low key, I kind of respect the move.
Know your levels.
Low key, I kind of respect it because like
Right?
a dude does that. I'm like, you know what, bro? I appreciate you saving us the time. But at the same time, it's like, bro, we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves. Like golf
Nah,
is
it's
a
a hard
leisure
game.
activity, bro.
It's a
Like we
hard
do
game.
it as homies, dog. And like you know, I know it's
What a
sucks to
community,
struggle out
dog.
there, and you
The
know,
community.
we all go through it. You know,
Right.
we all have our bad days. Some it's all relative. Some are worse than others, or whatever. But you know, at the end
Sometimes
of the
you
day,
go
like,
out there
it
and
should
show
be-
it,
it should be-
82.
Yeah, to just go out there and vibe out and drink some beers and whatever. Like that, bro. That's why I love scrambles. The last
They're the best.
3 or 4 rounds of golf I played have been scrambles.
Let's go, dog. Come on, baby.
It's my favorite, bro. It makes golf fun.
That's what it is, right? It makes golf fun and it makes it entertaining and it makes it a good time for everybody involved, which is why it's one of the reasons it's so much a thing in work, right? Where it's like, bro, let's go have golf. Let's go play golf, have a good time, and go out there and just chill. Instead of being in the office and trying to like get points across and stuff like that, a ton of business gets done on the golf course every single day. And it's because it's a space where people can be free, right? To have a good time, be focused on something else other than work and be in a good vibe, dog, because you're out there with people who are out there for the good vibes.
And you can expense it.
Always, always, always.
But anyways, we're not here to talk about golf. At least
But
not
the
yet.
Miami Golf Bros preview did drop on YouTube. I saw it. You had posted something, dog.
What I post.
You're gonna make me
Post
look
something
it
I
up.
don't know about.
Yeah, no.
I had the IG post a recap of the
Thank you.
trip. I don't know
Thank
if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, I said YouTube, but you could have corrected me and said Instagram.
That's why you confused me,
Jerk.
dog. No, yeah, that video is dope. It was I mean, I did that for the boys, really. I wasn't even for like all the followers. Appreciate all my followers and all that, but you know, that was really for the homies that went on the trip to see all those pictures, bro. It was hilarious. Some
It
of
was
those
a
pictures
good
were funny
time,
as
dog.
shit.
It was a good time. I can't wait, dog. Can't wait.
We got
Let's go to
less than a
stream
year.
song though.
We'll see.
All right,
It's
all
in
right,
the works,
all right.
dog. It's
All
in the
right,
works.
All right, all right. We'll talk about
We
it.
got a
later.
lot to talk about
got a lot
on
to
that
talk
front
about.
later on.
All right, let's talk about it, dog, because obviously it's one of the hottest topics right now in sports, easily in the last 5 years, right? The crazy shit that happened at the Hard Rock Stadium, bro, for the Copa America Final between Colombia and Argentina.
Give me an adjective, just one adjective if you were going to describe
Embarrassing.
it. I got one.
Embarrassing.
Okay. That's fine. I was going to say anarchy.
And that's why it's embarrassing, Joel. It was anarchy, dog. There was no control, dog. There was not on both sides, right? The cops, right? And the people, they had no control, dog. And it's like you and I were talking about earlier, dog. These people had a mob mentality. And whenever that happens, dog, that's more than sports, right? That's a level where you're putting things and people in danger, and you're really doing things to either destroy or destruct, right? Whatever it is that you're around.
Right.
And we saw it, dog. The 72 lounge got destroyed. They fucking broke an elevator, dog. An escalator, dog. Like, you know how hard that is, dog? You know how many people must have got hurt in that?
Not just that, it's super dangerous too, I feel like, right?
Right?
Like if like the actual mechanism that is an escalator like falls,
Yeah,
like you
bro.
fall through that pit, don't you?
And that shit is metal, dog.
Yeah.
That shit is hardcore metal. Has like the ledges are out, and it's
Nah, and then outside, you know that like that I forgot what there's an actual term for it, but like that crowd effect when like it's like overcrowding and like you're no longer on your feet, you're just being pushed like up in the air.
Dog.
And you look at some of the videos, bro, and like there's like
Kids in there.
legit women and children. Like I hate to be
Come
corny, but it's
on.
like dog, like
Come on.
it was not safe. Like I didn't.
No.
It did not look like a safe place to be on
no,
Sunday.
dog. And I'm not pinning on one side or the other, dog. But as a human, you gotta have a sense of responsibility in your actions, right? And what it is that you're doing, and how you're acting, dog. Because you can be on whatever, alcohol, drugs, whatever, happiness, like excitement, whatever. You can be on all of that, dog, or none of it, but you still have to act accordingly, dog. And the fact that people didn't know how to act, dog, and it was complete anarchy, dog, it embarrassed me, dog, because all I got were texts and mentions, right, on Instagram and, excuse me, through text, like, yo, what the fuck is going on in Miami? And I'm like, I have no clue, and I'm so glad I'm home.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this show now for the better half of 4 years, 5 years. We've been sports fans, South Florida sports fans, our whole life, and we've never seen anything like this, bro. Granted, you know, the Dolphins are probably our biggest team as far as like the most history and all this stuff. They haven't been in any kind of position in recent history to be able
parades.
to. The Heat have had 3 parades. The Marlins have had two championship teams and parades. The Panthers, you
Just
know,
had a
just
crazy
had
one.
theirs. Like we've had success down here, you know, in South Florida. I know the argument is going to be the following though. So the fandom is just different. The fandom when it comes to the Heat, the Panthers, the Dolphins, and every other South Florida sports together doesn't even equal the weight of the fandom of, and I'm not going
National
to say
pride.
Colombia or Argentina.
No, national pride.
National pride and soccer national pride.
100%. And I agree with you, dog, right? I 100% agree with you. But at the same time, Joel, like I said, you have to be accountable for your actions, right? If you don't have a ticket to the game, right? And you know you're going there without a ticket to the game, without the intention of buying a ticket for the game and just trying to do whatever you can to get in the game, then you're already starting on the negative side, right? And it starts with just having that basic want, and then what do you want to do to get that basic want? How far are you willing to go? Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to do that? Are you going to, you get what I'm saying? So it compounds, and it compounds quickly. That's why I say, like, regardless of the nation, right, that's being represented, people have to be held accountable, dog, and they have to do better, dog. They have to do better, dog. This
Yeah,
isn't
but
fucking Boca Juniors. This isn't fucking nothing.
No,
This
I get
isn't
that.
none of those little South American countries in Brazil or anywhere else, dog. And again, I've been to those places. I've seen those stadiums, dog. They're fucking tiny, dog. Flamengo Stadium is tiny, completely tiny, dog. And imagine, dog, that doesn't happen there like that. You know, and if it does, it's because of a lack
Well,
of foresight and lack of security.
Well,
which
in those countries, they're going to just start shooting people, and then that's how people learn. But we're not going to go that far here.
We're not going to go that far.
That's a whole
We're
different
not.
subject of conversation. But honestly, bro, there's accountability on both sides, like we said. And honestly, it goes to the other side, bro, to the Hard Rock Stadium, the security or lack thereof for such an event. I mean, we were talking about how much the stadium holds. Is it what, 50, 60,000 people?
On a good day.
Let's be honest, man, because of the, the event that it was, where it was, okay, because I was in Charlotte, North Carolina last week for the semifinal.
Yeah.
And the Colombians were rampant in downtown.
bro,
They
we
took over the streets the whole day, not just like the hours of the game, but leading the whole day from the morning, all day, they were all over the place.
Bro, the
And this was
Uruguayan players jumping into the stands that weekend.
was mayhem. And you're talking Charlotte, North Carolina. So
Yeah,
I
bro.
say that to say, now you bring Messi and Argentina, who are the reigning champs in La
Right.
Copa, against Colombia. And both of these communities are so well represented here
Yeah.
in South Florida. Plus the amount of them that have traveled from their native countries into South Florida because it's such an easy and fun and accessible destination.
Right.
Let's be honest, bro. If that stadium holds 50, 60,000 people, there was 100,000 people there.
Yep.
And they were not ready. They were not prepared for that.
No. And then again, that's why I say, like, the foresight was not taken by that event staff, right? And it wasn't taken by whoever's in charge there. Just straight up, it wasn't, dog. Because there's no way, right, for a city and a stadium that have hosted multiple Super Bowls, not one or two recently, multiple Super Bowls,
Oh, yeah.
right?
The last 10 years.
Or the last 10 years, never do you have those type of incidents, world concerts, all types of stuff. You've named it, right?
Yep.
There's no way that they don't prepare for that and say, all right, guys, we know this is a big game, right? It was going to be big regardless. Let's be smart about it. Let's have this extra force. Let's have this reinforced. Let's tunnel these people this way. Let's have the emergency. That's an easy thing to have before the teams even get there, right? You got to have that set up. Plan A, plan B, plan C. They didn't have anything. And that's a reason why it looked as bad as it did. Could have it happened? Yeah, but they probably could have quelled it real quick had they been prepared, right? Had they been prepared and some shit like that pops off, they would have, hey, calm that shit down, right? But they weren't prepared, Joel, and it caught them off guard. Boom. And then it started to multiply. Boom, 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 boom.
And not to mention, obviously that was the biggest issue was the chaos. But then, man, you got to feel bad for all those people that spent thousands of dollars on tickets and didn't even get to go in.
Yeah, man. And flew here
From around the world.
10 grand down, 8 grand down, 20 grand, 40 grand down, because those tickets were going from 1,500 to 2,500 for a low level ticket, right? So imagine now what people are spending to come enjoy this. Enjoy it, quote unquote, enjoy it, dog.
And the worst part of it all, dog, to go through all of that, the money, the pain, both physical and mental, and everything else that you go through just to watch a soccer game, dog. I mean, let's be honest, bro.
Nah.
Dude,
No
4
chance,
hours later, and I get a 1-0 match, bro. Like, that was the most boring game I've ever seen in my life, bro. I am done with soccer.
No chance.
Done.
Come on. The passion, right? The passion is there, dog. And it's always going to be there, right?
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it, dog.
okay.
The game itself is just so ridiculously boring to me.
For sure. But look, that sport is always going to be the world's biggest, right? Because how many?
It's easily accessible, bro. You kick a can and it's soccer.
Yeah, for sure.
That's everybody can do it.
Yeah, but then you have some of the best that do it. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
Better than any other athletes, where to the point where the best of athletes, i.e. Kobe, right, wishes that he would have stayed in Italy for the ability to play and, have a good time in Italy while playing soccer and be a basketball star, dog. So, yeah, man, I understand it. I definitely understand it. But what it does, Joel, for me is make me question what's going to happen in 2026. Right, because that's when the World Cup is going to be here. That's when Hard Rock Stadium is going to be able to host multiple events, including one of the quarter-final fixtures. That's going to be July 11th, right around the corner, right? Oh, I'm sorry, that was right around the corner. But for 2026, they're gonna have that date there, right? They're gonna host multiple games, and we don't know who the countries are that are gonna be playing here, but you damn well know that Miami being such an accessible city, that those teams are gonna be well represented for sure. There ain't gonna be no empty seats in the stadium when it comes to hosting a World Cup, right?
Yeah, well, we
How
gotta
how are
change
they gonna
something.
get ready for that?
Yeah, that's the big question. Let's take a quick break to take care of this camera.
Let's do it.
And we're back. We just had a little issue with the camera, but I think we sorted
Small
it
one.
out. So,
A small one.
but yeah, what we were talking about was
World Cup 2026, how
yeah,
that's
and
going to
how
look,
they
how
gotta
they're going to get
prepare.
ready for that.
They got to prepare for that. It's going
Tough.
to be all out chaos. I
Tough,
mean,
tough. It's going to be a tough job, especially after the backlash that this shit is going to get, you know? And I wonder, kind of like previewing what we're going to talk about later in the honorable mentions, how does this affect the Dolphins' first couple of games? Because they got 2 home games back to back. They got Jacksonville, they got Buffalo to start off the season. So,
how does it affect us in what sense?
well, that whole suite level got pretty much destroyed. They're gonna have to refurbish it, get it ready. Like, how long is that gonna take? Is it gonna be ready in time for the season opener, home opener at that?
Hopefully
We'll
they
see.
get on it. They should be able to.
We'll see. We'll see. In other news, crazy news, but other news, the Marlins have an actual All-Star this year, even though they all get one. Right? This guy definitely deserves it.
What's the Marlins record right now?
I don't even know, dude.
Yep.
They're so
All right,
bad.
so go on to the All Star.
Tanner Scott has been balling though. He has been balling, dog, which is hard to do on a bad team, dog. He's been playing really well, dog. Got his first career All Star honor. The only guy representing from the Marlins where you would look at this lineup and be like, "Coño, none of these guys have made it to that point. Like, what type of season are you having?" But Tanner Scott has been balling, bro. 14 saves. Again, not easy to come by on this team. ERA of 1.34, 45 strikeouts. Like, this kid has really done well, and I think that again, to amp yourself up to perform, right, when a team that you're playing for is one of the worst in the league, is hard, especially at the professional level, especially in baseball, right? And the fact that he's been able to not only do what he's got to do, exceed everything that he's had to do this season, is a good recognition for him, bro. And it shows that the Marlins find players every now and then that are worth some salt, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice accolade to have. You know, shout out to him. But I'm tired of individual accolades, bro. Especially when it comes to the Marlins.
Especially when it comes to the Marlins,
So,
dog.
Sorry, Tanner.
It's all right, man. Again, he's happy, dog. He wasn't even planning on it himself, dog. I got to hear today that, you know, when they told him, he was actually looking on flights to go home. They're like, "Hey, kid, you made the All-Stars." He was like, "Oh, shit.
Look at that.
You know, and there were 34 new All-Stars this year. So, again, Major League Baseball is doing a good job of recognizing guys who are legit All-Stars for the certain year, and not because you've been an All-Star 3 out of the 4 or 5 years, right? Guys who are just doing what they got to do, putting the name in the bucket and really putting on a good season and a good show for the fans. So important, bro. It's so important. In other news, something else that I heard about the Marlins, bro, Jazz out there on the trade block. Rumored teams looking and calling the Marlins about it.
Former Marlins All-Star.
Yeah. And you got to wonder, like, obviously that guy would bring a haul back, right? But are you willing to trade him, right? And how does it hurt your franchise? How does it help your franchise? Because the truth is, Joel, if we do trade Jazz, it's not going to be for like replacement. We're more than likely going to try to get prospects, right? And those prospects are going to be 3-4 years away at best. Right? So we're trading the now for the future instead of sticking with what could be potentially become an amazing baseball player for the Marlins. I don't know how I feel about trading Jazz right now at this point.
I don't think it's really up to you and I, or even the Marlins for that matter. It's just really dependent on what the rest of the league needs from their designated farm system.
Yeah.
So if somebody else wants Jazz is going to go, and we're going to just eat a couple of prospects that we may turn into another type of Jazz player, which we will then let go for more prospects. So it's a never-ending vicious cycle.
Yeah. And the Marlins have really been tasked with that, with trying to break that cycle. And that new current GM ownership group, they have a lot to do with that, right? And right now, it looks like they're failing because, yeah, you trade Jazz, but again, what does it bring you? And are the fans going to be excited by it? There's a big chance of a no on that, right?
No.
Big chance of a no on that.
The Marlins need a renaissance. They need to do something to rejuvenate South Florida baseball.
Bro, even the last time this team was good, Joel, they built that team little by little, all the pieces that we had. and those guys turned out to be really good players. One of those guys are batting in the home and derby time. Ozuna, he's out there still balling. Christian Yelich, balling. Sanchez up in for the Yankees, balling. Stan, my bad. Um, we have guys who we built up, who came up in the Marlins.
Yeah,
and the Marlins kept them together until they didn't. Which is again the Marlins thing to do, but fuck, they're not. They're even doing it sooner than before historically, right? By trying to trade away his best players instead of kind of trying to trim the fat and acquire some pieces that could potentially blow up along this side. I don't think we've done a good job of that. Right. The MLB draft is still happening. The Marlins took a pitcher, PJ Morlando, in the 16th pick. Added to him to a far sister high school kid coming out of Texas. I think that, that just shows you how the Marlins are looking at things, right? They're looking for the next 5, 7, 10 years. And I don't know if this fanship, right, which is already barely contributing to this franchise, right, is going to be able to withstand that. So you're talking about going from like maybe having 15% of the fan base down here in South Florida, Miami, right, so going down to like the 6, 7%, maybe even less than that, because people will care less, right, and go to the games whenever you do have a good special, and you have to make it as cheap as possible for people to attend your games.
Even still, they struggle, bro.
And they have BOGOs, dog.
It's really, you want to know what's carrying that organization and the stadium itself, bro. It's how well other teams travel.
Yep.
I mean, it's no surprise, bro. Like, you see the stadium and it's just the opposing jersey.
Yep.
That's more of the people that are in line to go watch the game, to go see their team on the road versus the Marlins fans seeing their team at home.
For the low. To go see them for the low. Because if you go to see the Phillies in Philadelphia, it's going to cost you a penny. You want to go see them in New York, it's going to cost you a penny. Boston, Texas, California, we know those prices are going to be high.
Absolutely.
You were coming watching that here, you're basically watching them for free, dog. It's crazy.
That's the only thing keeping them alive, man. So.
See, man. And that's the sad part about a lot of these Marlins kids that the Marlins draft, that they'll probably never put on a Marlins uniform ever. And that sucks. That sucks as a franchise, man. Enough about the Marlins.
Yeah, let's get off of that, please.
Let's go into some good vibes out in Scotland, bro, with those tee times that went down this weekend. The Scottish Open, Genesis Scottish Open to be exact, and Robin McIntyre, bro, and how he was able to win that tournament, ball out that final round on Sunday. His dad was on the bag. Again. For his big win. How crazy is that?
Second big win. I mean, this one's substantially bigger, but
huge.
Even his first win earlier this year was just as big too. I feel like, considering who he was, the position he was in, and all that. But like, boom, he got over that hump, and then now, like in a real even bigger setting, got the job done again. Especially to make that putt on 18, bro.
Yeah, man.
Huge. The way he did it, like it's impressive what that kid's been able to do. Like, so unsuspecting. Sure. This is not a household name in golf right now.
Yeah. No. And again, he was swimming with the sharks. Morikawa was chasing him. Rory was chasing him. Even Ogberg was chasing him.
Ludwig.
He's been balling this year, dog.
That kid's very close to breaking through.
He's due.
Very close to breaking through.
Due. And he's one of those young bulls, right? Sharks in the water that are really out there grinding every week, really putting out good performances after good performances after good performances. And Robert was able to withstand all that. Like you said, he knocked down that birdie on 18th to seal the victory. And it was just nice, man, for a kid from Scotland, right, to dream about playing on that course, to go out there and win on his quote-unquote home course, bro, is amazing, man. And it's just a dope story, bro. And that's what I love about golf, man. It has some of the best stories out there, bro. Because you get shit like this, right, where the guy who wasn't supposed to win goes out there against all odds, balls out, and wins a big tournament. You know what I mean? Previewing the U.S. Open, the Open, excuse me.
The British Open.
The British Open.
Drop the British, but right. Yeah, that's what we call it.
Going down after that, right? And it being such a classical place, wherever they host it, and that tournament is just prestige in itself, man.
I saw a funny clip because since he's Scottish or whatever, like, from out there, they get down, dog. They love to drink, So like we saw when Shane Lowry, won the Open like 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say, or whatever.
Yeah.
We saw how hammered that guy got, bro. I saw a clip that they were asking him like, oh, like when do you think you're gonna pull up to the Open or whatever? He was like, I'll tell you this much, I ain't driving because I'm not gonna be able to because of how hard I'm gonna go celebrating this one.
Absolutely,
Which
bro.
is dope. Like I love to see guys that like not only like fight hard, but like once they
Party
reach
hard.
that, like boom, like really let loose and enjoy that, like the spoils of the victory.
Bro, it's hard to win in golf, dog.
And anything, dog. Like in your
In
respective
anything.
field, bro.
It's
Like
hard.
like you gotta
You gotta celebrate the big wins,
That's
dog.
it.
Right, and that was a big win.
That's
Yeah, it's not a major tournament, but for a kid of his age, a kid who's coming up in the ranks and really trying to prove himself as one of those real pros, right? Or at least a guy who's worthy of being on the pro circuit. It's amazing to see him go out there and win tournaments against people who are really good at this game and people that we rely on week in, week out. And when I say week in, week out, that includes the Open, right? Because Scotty's still number one at plus 500. You got Rory right behind him at plus 800 for the weekend. But that doesn't mean that any one of these guys in the tournament can go out there and win because normally those weather conditions really do take a toll on a lot of those golfers. And a lot of those European players, they play there all the time and they're used to those conditions and those American struggles. So it's always going to be a tough battle, but I'm interested to see on who you think may have the edge coming into this tournament, dog. There's a lot of guys on that list, like I said. Yeah, dog.
I mean,
there's a lot of guys playing good golf, dog. Like, I only mentioned two, but you got Tommy Fleetwood, who's been playing really good. Hovland's been playing really good. We mentioned Morikawa. That's another top 10 finish
I'm pulling it up right now here.
that he has this year.
So let's think about,
Bryson.
We've had 3 majors already this year, right? That's what we got to think about. So the first major, Scotty Scheffler won it, right?
Yep.
And it was looking like Scotty was going to sweep all of the majors this year until, the whole PGA championship incident happened with the cop at Valhalla and all that.
Weird.
Kind of sidetracked Scotty, but it opened the door for a guy named Xander to come in and have an impressive win.
Slam dunk of a performance.
Dope tournament. And then you follow that up with an even more impressive performance by Bryson DeChambeau to win the U.S. Open.
Balling. That day he was balling. And again, it's lights out performances that you got to put on in these major tournaments because, yeah, you're going to win. But guess what? You got to beat a lot of the top 5, top 10 players in the world who are on fire. And all those guys that we named are on fire. Yeah, you're not going to win every tournament every week. That's really hard to do. But the fact that you're finishing in top 5s, top 10s, week in, week out, regardless of wherever you're finishing, like wherever you're playing, like that shit is hard to do, dog.
Yeah.
And those guys are so consistent at it.
So that's why I say, like, look at the trends this year. I'm going to give you top 10 for the Masters.
That's cool.
All right. Scotty won it. Ludwig Oberg, who we were talking about, that was kind of his debut for us. He got solo second. Tied for third, Homa, Morikawa, Tommy Fleetwood. I remember Tommy Fleetwood had a local caddy that week because his caddy was having surgery.
That's right.
And I bet on him that week, and that he got a tie for third. Tie for 6, Bryson DeChambeau, Cameron Smith, solo 8th, Xander Schauffele, 9th, Will Zalatoris, Hatton, and Cam Young, all tied for 9th.
Crazy.
All right, now we go to the PGA Championship. Well, a guy that got tied, that was solo 8th, won the PGA Championship. The guy that was in 6th at the Masters was solo 2nd. Okay, Hovland didn't post, right?
Not
at the Masters. I think he had a bad Masters, but he got solo 3rd at the PGA Championship. I remember he had kind of a bad Sunday. A guy that's off the rails here is Thomas Dietrich, the German or Belgian guy, whatever. Morikawa was there, though.
That guy stays in the mix, dog.
He stays in the mix, right? Here we go. U.S. Open. Bryson DeChambeau, Rory McIlroy, Patrick Cantlay, Tony Finau, Matsuyama, Schauffele, Burns. Oberg was in there again. I mean, 2 guys that I'm immediately thinking about without giving anything away to the rest of the guys in my FanDuel this week, is Morikawa and Oberg, dog.
Those guys are being really consistent, Joel. And if you're talking about, all right, what separates those guys? A lot of it is the wedge play. Because they, a lot of guys have a bunch of irons. They have 3 irons, 2 irons, and they can hit bombs all day to get on the green or get it within that 40, 30-yard range, right? To get up and down for a birdie opportunity. But can you knock down those wedges? Can you leave it within those 5 feet that you're comfortable? We saw a lot of guys misreading the fuck out of those hills out there on the Genesis Open, right? And balls going way right, way left. But we also saw some guys draining really good putts because of the fact that they're able to read the greens. I just think that what separates those guys is the short game. You know, and you've always told me that the more you work on the short game,
100%.
the better you'll be at your golf game.
What's the age-old adage? You know, you drive for show, but you putt for dough. It's all about the short game when it comes to making some money. But talking about the short game, did you see Colin Morikawa's left-handed chip with his right-handed club?
Dog, come on. Again, how often do you think he does that? Often enough for it to look that smooth, right?
100%.
Often enough to it to look like, oh, you need me to do this?
100%. That kid is such a good ball striker, bro. It's crazy,
He's
bro.
He's a talent.
Like, even just turning the wedge around, he don't care. He can still, hit it better than we're going to hit that club.
He's a talent, dog. You know, one guy I'm just going to name drop here that I'm like, bro, this guy can show up any day of the week. It's Brooks. When Brooks is on his right mind frame and locked in and focused and playing well, it's hard to reach that guy. It's hard.
I'm a big Brooks guy, and I had a lot of my eggs in the Brooks basket for the first couple of majors this year. But, man, he really hasn't done anything. You know, I'm looking here. He didn't top 10 in any of these 3 majors that we're looking at. I think he made the cut. Like, T for 26 at the PGA. Where's Brooks at the Masters? I don't even see.
Nah, I don't think he made the cut that weekend,
Brooks
right?
tied for 45 at the Masters.
Look at that, barely.
And then at the U.S. Open, did he make it to the weekend? Yeah, tied for 26 at the U.S. Open. So a couple of top 40 finishes, but he hasn't really looked like the Brooks that we've seen before in these major championship events.
Yeah. And I think that he's, like I said, he's just a guy that you're like, all right, if this dude's on, he can compete. Top 3 for sure this weekend. And
you know who I like right now that's getting, or at least had a decent showing at the Scottish?
Just say his last name, not his first name.
No, you just almost said it, dog. It's your boy, Justin.
Oh yeah, that's
Justin
my guy.
Thomas. Looks like he's starting to make a little bit of a comeback here in his game.
That's my guy, and he's looked real good lately. You know, he's looked as his short game has improved. You know, and he's able to control a lot of what he does in order to give himself good looks when it comes to putting, especially for birds. You know, he had a good run streak right there that past weekend at the Scottish. He was able to get some nice chips in and also drain some good birdie looks. So that's always a plus for guys like him.
And he's such a good guy for the sport, dog. Like, we want to see.
He's
like Ricky.
He rides.
Ricky, Spieth, and JT. I know that they're boys, but dog, like, we want to see those guys doing well in the world of golf.
Yeah. So yeah, if you had to make a pick on who you got as a winner, who would you go with?
Man.
You want me to say mine? I'll say mine without.
I already gave you two guys. That's
I
all
honestly
I'm
think that it would be Oddberg. Honestly, I would think it would be him because just like you, for the reason that you and I said, except besides anything else, the fact that he's due. He's been playing such good golf that this kid is due a big win, and nothing can be bigger than winning the Open, right? With this type of competition.
Dog, you know, out of left field, who I think low key too. I don't even want to share it, but
probably not even left field, dog. We'll
bleep
bleep the name out. Just tell me.
Nah, but it's a past Open champion, dog.
Who's that?
Guy that hasn't really been, doing much ever since he went to live. We haven't really heard his name a whole lot, but he's somewhat stayed in the mix a little bit. Cam Smith.
Bro, he's always, yeah, that's a great call.
It takes a certain kind of guy to play, in these kinds of courses, bro. That's why we see these kind of left field winners or whatever. Who was it last year? Brian Harmon that won the Open. You know what I mean? So it's like some of those guys are just good at keeping the ball in front of them and not making mistakes. They're not flashy or anything. Right. Even though I think Cam Smith is a little flashy, he can be. That guy's sick.
But they're down to play safe.
When he's on, he's sick. But yeah, man, I can see a guy like that considering where they're playing at Royal Troon. Coming in and taking that.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be a good tournament.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bryson has a crazy run this week too, dog.
Hey, that's why I love. That's what I love about this tournament.
He's gonna be driving every green.
Yeah,
every par 4 and par 5 green. If it's windy and it's downwind,
and historically, it's very windy around this time where they're playing. So let's see who really has power, who really knows how to play out there. It's gonna be such a tough challenge. It's not gonna be as easy as we've seen. We're not gonna get 16, 17, 14 under. We're not seeing none of that.
I don't think it gets to double digits, honestly.
Yeah, no way. That's a good little bet to take there too, man. Real quick, let's run through these honorable mentions, man. We got the Dolphin season preview coming up. I'm excited for that. We got a lot of moves to talk about, a lot of positions to talk about. We still have that Tua decision hanging over the Dolphins' head. There's been a lot of talks.
Do you have any update on that Tua situation for us?
Bro, there's really no update. The Dolphins are stuck in at a position with a number. Tua's holding out for, things of a different number. And I think that if the Dolphins are to be realistic, they'll be much closer to Tua's number than their number as far as negotiating goes, right? And I say that because, you don't want to get caught flat-footed, right? Where you force your guy to either sit out, right, and miss a couple of games of the season, or you have him play on that year, but he's really not happy, or maybe he doesn't want to play, or you end up, having to extra pay. There's just so many bad scenarios that can just happen the longer this goes. My boy was telling me, bro, for sure they're going to sign him before the season starts. I'm like, maybe it's not week one. They've had so many opportunities before guys get, before guys get signed, or we saw other wide receivers get signed, right? Or quarterbacks, get signed, that we could have signed Tua, and we haven't. And that's worrisome, and those are some of the things that we're going to have to really break down and see what's available and what's going to happen when it comes to the Dolphins preview that we do. And of course, what we got leading into OnlyFans, man, which I'm looking very forward to this year, especially after all the stuff we just talked about.
I'm excited for the Dolphins season, man. That's real football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a sport worth rioting for, bro.
America.
That's an American sport right there.
America.
I will rush any gate
to watch a football game.
To watch my beloved Dolphins.
I do have to talk about the Miami Heat real quick, because this summer league has been really good for some of the guys that we're kind of hoping to see them make a jump, right? And there's two names that have been jumping out at me, not only on the stat sheet, but what they're showing on the highlight reels of these guys and how they're approaching this summer league. Number one is Triple J, right? Jaime Jaquez Jr. That kid has been really taking a concentrated step into being extremely selective with the shots that he's going to try to work on and take during this season, and making them efficient shots. This is the second game where he ends up with more than 20 points. He had a 29-point against the Celtics Summer League team, and tonight against the Thunder's Summer League team, he had 23 points. So back-to-back games where Jaquez is shooting really well, right? He was 8 of 11 the other day, 8 of 13 today. This is what I want to see as far as a jump for the guy that we know can ball out, right? Because we saw the spurts, but we just needed to be more consistent. So that's exciting for me, especially with the lack of moves that the Heat have made, right? We need our guys to step up and ball.
We're grasping at straws. You're looking for any silver lining.
Hardcore. And
Triple J is definitely a silver lining for us.
Absolutely. And again, if he keeps playing like this, he's going to continue to raise the expectations of what we want to see during the regular season, which, of course, is down the line. But one of the things that we've talked about on this program recently is Ware and his play, right? And what we expect out of him. And so far, so good, bro. This kid has really come on and looked really good defensively. He can run the floor. He has dunks. He has shots. He blocks shots. And I think that's always what the Heat have been lacking. A big man who's able to contribute, maybe not be the best big man, maybe not even be a top 10, top 15 big man, but a guy who is going to show up week in, game in, game out, and provide something that the Heat need, which is size and length. We don't have neither one of those things, and athletic ability, and that guy brings all three, man. He had 11 points tonight.
Solid.
12 rebounds.
There you go. It's a double-double. That was my next question.
Easy. With a block.
Well, that's what we need, bro. Activity. A guy's going to grind.
Yeah, man. Let's see. The guard play has been well in Summer League. I don't know if those guys are standing out enough to really make the team like that, but I do know that Ware's definitely making a case for himself to be on that level, and Jaquez is showing that if we're able to give him more time and more offensive freedom, he's probably able to contribute a lot more, and that's a good sign for the Heat. That's a good sign for the Heat, man. But yeah, a lot to look forward to, and a lot that we're going to be bringing you here on the Sports with SoSo podcast.
If you stay stuck around this long, we apologize for the technical difficulties we had this week with the camera. Make sure it doesn't happen next week.
For a fact. But you know what time it is, dog. It's time to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To tell everybody that they know.
To tell everybody that they know that we got this amazing podcast that you guys should be listening to. We got a lot of dope interviews coming up for you guys. We got OnlyFans coming up for you guys. Just a lot to look forward to. Make sure to continue to rock with us. Hit that like button. Drop a comment. Let us know if you like. Hit that notification button. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button. Until next time. Peace.